Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Emily Hiles. This evening, we warmly welcome the family of Sergeant Alfred Arthur Amos Davis, whose story will be told shortly by Warrant Officer Class 1 Wayne Davis from the Australian Army, who is Sergeant Alfred Davis' great-nephew. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family and visitors to the memorial, and students on behalf of Trinity College, Gawler River, visiting from Anglevale, South Australia. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Students, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where family and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved. And here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Sergeant Alfred Arthur Amos Davis, MM. Alfred Davis was born in Sydney on the 12th of June, 1894, one of 6 children born to William and Lydia Davis. Educated at Arncliffe Public School, as a boy, his family nicknamed him Jim, as he did quite often acquire fruit from the local Chinese market garden near home. When spotted, the Chinese vendors would chase him, calling out, "We will get you, Jimmy." Alfred's mother died in October 1910. His eldest sister, Florence, took over the running of the house. By the time of the First World War, Alfred had been working as a labourer and working part-time at the local militia unit. Alfred's father died in January 1915. 4 months later, on the 25th of May, Alfred Davis enlisted for service. Joining the newly raised 20th Battalion, he was allotted to Alpha Company. Private Davis sailed with his battalion from Sydney on the 25th of June, bound for Egypt, where the men trained in the desert before sailing for Gallipoli. Davis and his battalion landed on Gallipoli on the 22nd of August, playing a minor role in the final action of the August offensive, before taking up a defensive position at Russell's Top. Davis reported sick in October and was evacuated by hospital ship to Malta. He took several months to recover and was sent to Egypt in mid-December. By the end of February, Davis and his battalion had arrived in France, entering the frontline positions in the Bredouille salient near Bourgogne. The 20th became the first Australian battalion to be raided by the Germans in May, when German forces captured 11 prisoners and took 2 trench mortars. The battalion moved south to the Somme in July and took part in the defensive position of Pozieres. On the 4th of August and the 20th, battalion was involved in the attack on the German original lines. Distinguishing himself during this action, Davis was awarded the Military Medal, the citation for which reads, "For conspicuous gallantry at Pozieres during the assault on the German second-line trenches on the night of the 4th to the 5th of August 1916. Davis brought up ammunition and stores to the newly captured position through an intense enemy artillery barrage. He also assisted an armed or wounded back from the front to the second line and acted as a guide to a relieving battalion. These duties were performed with the utmost gallantry and coolness." After a break in the Ypres sector, the 20th Battalion returned to the Somme in October. Davis was absent without leave and was given 14 days punishment and fined 16 days pay. Despite his infringement of military discipline, he was awarded to Lance Corporal in November. The battalion took part in the attack on Fleur in November, and conditions described as the worst encountered by the AIF. Afterwards, it spent the remainder of the year rotating in and out of the front line. The extreme weather conditions throughout December caused numerous casualties. Davis was evacuated to England with a severe case of trench foot, admitted to the hospital in London on New Year's Day 1917. The AIF attempted to raise a 6th Infantry Division in England during 1917. In late April, Davis was transferred to the 63rd Battalion. By August, he'd been promoted to sergeant. September saw the 6th Division disbanded and the experienced men returned to their original units. In April 1918, the 20th Battalion was involved in the stopping of the German spring offensive, taking part in a sharp action at Ongarwood. The battalion was out of the line at Belvancourt on the 21st of April when Davis was caught intoxicated, for which he was severely reprimanded by his commanding officer. A few months of resting and training with occasional turns in the front line followed. On the evening of the 12th of July, an ammunition dump near Davis's position was set on fire by German artillery. Davis single-handedly rushed out to extinguish the flames before the artillery shells detonated. A congratulatory message was sent by Major General Charles Rosenthal, but Davis would never receive it. On the night of the 13th of July, he was part of a working party bearing signal cables near Villers-Bretonneux. His platoon commander, Lieutenant Henry Winkworth, recalled, who could forget Sergeant Liver Davis? A rough diamond, a bit of a lad, and one of the boys. His fatigue party groused a bit when, after a hard day's work in Villas Brett, Liver took them trench digging. Liver said, "Give me a pick." And as Liver started digging, his pick reportedly struck a buried shell which detonated, shrapnel tearing into his right arm and armpit. He was taken to the 47th Casualty Clearing Station, where wounds proved to be mortal. He died on the 15th of July, 1918. Alfred Davis was aged 24 years old. He was laid to rest the following day at the Crewe British Cemetery, where his epitaph on his headstone reads, "Jesus saith, abide with me." His name is listed on the roll of honour to my right, with almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. And his photograph is displayed beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember my great uncle, Sergeant Alfred Arthur Amos Davis, MM, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall got no old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of our director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.